Today, we're going to review the Josh McDaniels interview from the league meetings. Stay tuned after the intro.
When you have great coaches, then after you have great coaches, you get great players. You have a great organization, and you tell them one thing: just win, baby.
This is Raiders Allegiance with Lunatic Raider. Welcome to the dark side.
What is the deal, Raider Nation? Welcome to another episode of Raiders Allegiance with yours truly, Lunatic Raider. Today we'll be diving into the interview that Josh McDaniels gave a couple of days ago from the team meetings down in Florida, pertaining to the direction of this franchise, the coaching staff, current players on the roster, as well as potential players to be signed in free agency and the draft as well. So first up, let's go ahead and check out his ideas and what he thinks of the new coaching staff.
You know, when I went to Denver, I really didn't have an opportunity to bring people that had worked with me before. I'd only been in the league for 8 years, so I didn't have as much experience and as many connections as I do at this point, and it's a blessing that we have an opportunity to work together. Some of us that have had those relationships, you just hit the ground running a little quicker when you have the opportunity to do that, and those guys have done a great job. I'm really pleased with our staff, the way they're working, their mindset, their attitude, their work ethic has been tremendous so far this spring, and I give them a lot of credit for the time they're spending at the facility. It's tireless. I mean, most of our families aren't out there yet, so this is kind of, we go from the end of one season and just work all day, all night now. So really enjoy being around this group of guys.
Very good information right there. Now we kind of understand the way they went about with putting this team together and the kind of people that works well as a unit, as a team. With that being said, and also information he gave was about Patrick Graham.
I mean, I've always been fond of Patrick. He's a great coach and he's a great person. So, you know, when you're thinking about doing these kind of things and having an opportunity, if it was presented, you always have to be mindful of who you may be able to add to your staff and surround yourself with. And you want to put as many good people and good coaches around you as you can. And, you know, Patrick's at the top of that list in both categories. He's done a lot of great things. I'm excited to work with him. I'm excited to learn from him. And he's already doing a great job with our defensive staff right now.
Patrick Graham was a very good hire, I think, too, to come to this team and help develop this defense into something being dominant. Also, his ideas about how to go about and what they do with improving the roster.
I think you try to do what you feel like is best to improve every area of your football team. And I know that there was some things in free agency where, you know, you're going into it saying, okay, let's take a look at all these different areas. And sometimes it just doesn't really fall within your range, or, you know, it kind of gets to a point where you don't feel comfortable doing it. I know we had some interest in some people to try to improve the overall group, the depth and the competition of the group. I think we have a lot of players there that are not at their ceiling yet, and I think our job as coaches will always be to try to maximize the players that we have. So there's a lot of ways to improve. You can add players, you can improve them, and so we're going to take every avenue we can to try to do that. We still have the draft, we still have post-draft, we still have June, we still have August. There's a lot of different avenues to do that, but I'd say I feel pretty good about the group that we have, and now it's, you know, our job in the short term here is to try to coach them, get them to play better, each group, each man to play better, and that's what we'll focus on.
You can always get better with adding players that can upgrade your team, whether the offensive side or defensive side of the ball. So very good information right there. Another thing that improved this team was the Max Crosby extension that was given to him before all this jumped off.
If you can score or affect the quarterback on defense, you know, those are two really important things to every football team, and obviously Max can do that. He can affect the quarterback on the other team. the other thing I love about Max Crosby is, he's in the building first every day. I'm not sure I know anybody that works any harder at his craft than he does. He's unselfish. He's got a great team first attitude. He's a great example for what you want in a football player. And so to reward people that do those kind of things, you never regret those things, and it's exciting for our team and our organization to have an opportunity to watch him grow into the person and player that he's become. And then, we're all going to be witness to it.
Now with a player with Max Crosby's ability and his elite status of being able to be top of the barrel when it comes to being top defensive ends in the league, he deserved everything he got. Also, the things that make this team even more greater was the addition of Chandler Jones.
Yeah, I've known Chandler for a long time, and so Chandler's a really good guy, and he's obviously a great football player, and he has an infectious personality. He practices like that. He comes to work with a smile on his face. He's an easy guy to like, and so I think that his teammates will embrace him quickly, I'm sure, and he'll reciprocate that with what he does for them in practice and hopefully on the game field.
Now we got two dominant defensive ends on this defensive line that Patrick Graham could go ahead and implement into his system of what he's trying to do on defense. Very, very good, man. We're doing things the right way, as you can see. With the addition of Chandler Jones and the extension of Max Crosby, now your bookends are solid and they're there for you to go ahead and build around. Also, the big thing that happened with this all season so far was the big trade for Davante Adams.
When it became apparent that they were going to think about doing something like that, then you have to start doing your work and, really, diving into the process of researching, the player's fit, and anything that you can to try to figure out if it's something that would make your team better. And then that's a different process, which involves a lot of different layers and research, phone calls, tape evaluation, contacts, and, hopefully when you're making a decision that's, of that magnitude that, you cross all the T's and dot all the I's. And with Davante, we just felt like this is the kind of a player that you would consider doing this for. And, he's certainly been a great football player. And after having the opportunity to meet him, and spend some time with him the other day, everything that we had heard, everything that we were told, all the different recommendations and all the different things that we heard about him as a person, those were true too. And so feel really comfortable about the decision that we made and really good about, the player and the person that we've added to our team.
Now, if you have the ability of getting Davante Adams, then you go get Davante Adams. To add the arguably number one receiver in all of football is a no-brainer. And to be able to pair him back up with his college playmate of Derek Carr is unbelievable for them to get back on track and do what they did before at Fresno State. Now, with that being said, here is how Carr fits into the equation.
Derek's fit on the team is as a player is obviously what we're looking for and what we want to try to build around. I mean, look, our relationship continues to grow personally. We won't be able to do anything on the field here for a little bit, but that'll be a process. And I think ultimately, you try to do what's best for the team, and I think both sides got to do what's best for when we get into those conversations with Derek. Derek's going to have to make decisions about what's best for him. That's what each man's right is, and they should do that for their families. And at the same time, we got to try to do what's right for the team. And there'll be a sweet spot in there, hopefully, for everybody, and we'll be excited to go forward like that.
Now they're starting to build this team around Derek Carr and giving him legitimate weapons to go ahead and cure our illness of going into the red zone and being inept to scoring touchdowns. I'm glad every move that this team is making makes sense. I'm all for it, man. But don't forget last year's first round pick. Even though we don't have a first and a second this year, we got to stop making mistakes by not either coaching up these players or reaching in the first round. But we don't have to worry about reaching this year because we ain't got a first or a second to reach on. But you remember Leatherwood from last year? Let's hear what Josh McDaniels has to say about him.
Had great conversations with Alex so far. He's excited. Played a lot of football as a rookie, and everybody's, well, yeah, he played a lot of football. That counts for something, you know what I mean? And you can say, well, was it this or that? I know this, his second year is going to feel like his second year, not his rookie year. Because he was in there a lot. He played a lot of snaps. He played tackle. He played guard. And we're going to try to give him an opportunity to earn a role that's his best fit, and it's the best fit for the Raiders. And look, we know what he was drafted for, and we're going to give him an opportunity to do such. But ultimately, what we want to do at the end of the day is we're going to put the best 5 guys out there. The best 5 guys we can put out there to protect the quarterback and run the football and be physical. That's what we're going to try to do.
That makes sense. Go ahead and let that man battle it out and fight for a position on this team, whether it be right guard or right tackle or water boy. You know what I mean? But anyway, man, that's about it for now. Just want to dig into the little parts I took from the interview that I thought was very informative of the direction and the vision of what this coaching staff and front office has for the Raiders. I'm happy. I'm satisfied, and I'm confident in the direction we're going, and I know that we shall get there to where they're trying to get real soon, sooner than later. You know what I mean? They're on the right track. We're adding good depth, good rotational players so far in free agency, and the draft hasn't even happened yet. So with that being said, man, I'd like to thank you guys for rolling up, pulling up, and checking me out on Raiders Allegiance. But before I let you tiptoe up out of here, do me a solid. Subscribe to the channel. Hit that like button and knock the hell out of that notification bell so you can be notified of all the content I release, even breaking news. I'd like to thank you guys for watching Raiders Allegiance with yours truly, Lunatic Raider. And as usual, I'm out.